Num 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 num. I love to eat. I'm sure you probably love to eat too. I love experiencing different flavors, some of which I love, and sometimes I go, maybe never again. But I love this sense of taste, right? And what gives us this is our tongue. We're going to look in this part of our notes at the sense of taste and the physical structure of the tongue and how it leads to the sense of taste. Much like part 4 in our olfactory, our nose, our sense of smell, the notes are very simple. Okay, they're very simple to follow, but the action is very, very complex, as we'll see. Maybe. There we go. All right. Just a quick introduction to this. The tongue. Let's go back. The tongue is the sensory system's organ of taste. And the way that we taste things are dissolved molecules of food, oftentimes broken down and mixed with saliva inside our mouth. These dissolved molecules land on the upper surface of the tongue and go down into our taste buds, which are the sensory chemoreceptors of the sense of taste. These taste buds that we can see on our tongue. You've probably looked at your taste buds, been in the mirror going, and seen these taste buds, or you can look at a friend's if y'all are that close. But you'll see they look a little different depending on different parts of the tongue you look at. There's some of them that are raised up, some of them are surface level. But here's the thing, all of them enter into the tongue. All of them have a opening that allows this dissolved molecules in food, hopefully food. If you're eating other things, that's okay. But it's probably not advisable. But this dissolved molecules land there on the tongue and enter into the taste bud. From there, the stimulated chemoreceptors are going to generate nerve impulses that are going to travel to our brain. Okay. Once it enters into our brain, our gustatory cortex, this is where we help identify taste, right? I think there at the bottom of our notes it says to identify smells. That should say taste. Sorry, not perfect. I know you're shocked by that. I'm looking at the anatomy of the tongue. Of course, parts of it are no duh. Let me move my fat head here in a second. Yow. All right, you can see the upper lip, the lower lip, the upper palate, also called your hard palate here at the top. Our soft palate includes our tongue. And then if we look at the surface of the tongue, we have these papillae. These are our taste buds. Of course, they have this opening, the taste pore. Inside the taste pore, we have these things called microvilli that helps travel the food particles or move the food particles down within it. And then we see taste receptors, along with some support cells that give it shape and structure. But these taste receptors are what perceive the chemicals inside that food, and which ones are triggered, just like in the olfactory system there earlier in our notes, stimulates that sensory nerve. It's going to go. I'm just scared of what's going to happen. All right, let me move my big head. That's some important stuff written right there. All right, taste buds. Sometimes. There we go. All right, let's stay here for a little bit because I think this is a large portion of your notes for this unit. So the taste buds located on your tongue, they're called papillae. And there's 3 different types of taste buds, and you can kind of see the different shapes if you really study your tongue, if you're odd. So the first part are circumvallate or circular taste buds. Oh my goodness. It's killing me, guys. Sorry. Circumvallate or circular taste buds are found at the back of the tongue. They're larger. There's foliate taste buds. These are found on the sides of the tongue. These are kind of flat. You may not even realize that those are taste buds. This is a great diagram at showing that. These flat ones, you can't really, they're not as easy to see, we'll say. All right, and then we have a fungiform or mushroom-shaped at the front of the tongue. And you have on the right-hand side of these notes here a really good summary that may help you in your notes. Circumvallate or circle-shaped, they're found on the back of the tongue. foliate papillae are flat, they're on the side, and fungiform papillae are mushroom-shaped, and those are on the front of the tongue. To taste something, dissolved molecules from the food are going to enter these papillae, and of course it's not really being selective. They're going to all the different portions, all the different taste buds, especially if we got a really good bite of something that's mixed up in that saliva. It's going to stimulate the taste receptors in the taste buds. Once these taste receptors down within the tongue are stimulated, it's going to send a nerve impulse to the brain, and we're going to make sense of what we are tasting. Let's look at the primary taste. There are 5 different primary tastes. For a very long time, people only identified 4: sweet, sour, bitter, and salty, but now we understand there's umami. And if you like cooking shows, I like to watch things like on Food Network, and people are always talking about the different flavors, and a really good meal combination. Well, actually, I'm covering up here, by the way, just sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. I'm not going to move myself because I'll screw it up. But a really good dish may include all 5 of these, or stimulate all 5 of them at some portion during the meal. For the longest time, people believed in something called the taste map, right? In your elementary school science class, you may have learned this, and it had something to do with what's underneath this big crossed out part, that different portions of the tongue picked up the different primary tastes. So we only tasted sweet on the front part of our tongue. If you were a curious child, we'll say, which I was, I remember learning this and going home and trying it, I would put salt on different part of my tongue. The taste map, is what it was called, said we only tasted things in the front part. I'd put salt right there and go, yeah, I can definitely taste it, but if I put salt on the back or on the sides or the middle of my tongue, I tasted salt too. So what was the deal? Well, am I being lied to? Yes. It's been proven, the taste map has been proven dead wrong many, many times over. Instead, the current scientific thought is that there are maybe minor differences between different areas of the tongue, especially in relation to those different shapes of taste buds. They may perceive one of the 5 primary tastes, or 2 or 3 of the primary tastes, better than the other ones. But you can taste all 5 of the primary tastes all over your tongue, okay? So forget what you learned about that taste map, dead wrong. All right, but instead, this current level is there minor difference between different areas, but that all 5 basic tastes can be perceived equally along the tongue. And you can kind of see a diagram here that shows that in relation to the different colors there, pretty much throughout the tongue. Not sure what's going on in the middle of the tongue there. We can definitely taste in the middle of the tongue. Don't worry. But you can taste all over. Okay, so don't be confused by that. So to summarize, I know, I can't believe we're already at this point. To summarize, how do we taste? And I'm blocking the number 4 right there. Sorry, Charlie. Molecules dissolved in food, hopefully food, enter taste boards of the taste bud, and that stimulates the taste receptors. Chemically, it's all chemically. We perceive, is it bitter? Is it sweet? Is it sour? Whatever one of the tastes. Also a combination of those. From there, those activated chemoreceptors, or the taste receptors in the taste buds, carry nerve impulses along these nerves to our brain. Once it reaches the brain, it's rerouted to our cerebrum. And there, the gustatory cortex receives the nerve impulses and makes sense of it. It bases it on experience, right? It bases it on, have we tasted this before? Or what does this taste like? Is it very, very bitter and possibly poison or not good for us? Is it overly salty? Or is it not salty enough? Do I need to add some salt to the food that I'm making? All right. Our brain helps process that. So these are the 4 steps. And then, of course, we got a little quiz. If we were in class doing this together, of course, we would kind of look at these and go over it. If not, use these parts on your quizzes and exams later on.